Hey, it's Erica. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, and then welcome. Today I want to talk about the situation with Simone Biles. I'm sure, especially if you're from the US, you know who Simone Biles is. And even if you're not from the US, you probably know who she is. She is a gymnast from the US, and she is basically the best gymnast in the world. And now I'll be the first to admit, I don't know much about gymnastics. I'm physically disabled, and gymnastics is just something I was never good at, so I've never really liked it. I always felt left out when people were like doing cartwheels and stuff, so I don't know much about gymnastics, but from my understanding, Simone Biles is like the best gymnast in the world. And recently, she dropped out of the Tokyo Olympics. And I just wanted to address a lot of the hate and criticism she's been getting, because I don't think it's fair, and I think it is disgusting that people don't seem to care about Simone Biles as a human being. They only look at her as this athlete that can entertain them and do these great things, but at the end of the day, Simone Biles is a human being, and whether she's amazing at gymnastics or not, she still has a right to take a step back and do what she knows is best for her. And if that means dropping out of the Olympics, then so be it. And again, I don't know much about gymnastics, but I will link some sources down below from some people that are gymnasts who've said things like certain gymnastics moves that I don't know what they are, but like the flipping in the air types of things apparently can make people very oriented, and if they do it too much or too fast or whatever, they get to a point where they're like kind of like out of it and just on autopilot, which can be extremely dangerous, especially if you're doing these dangerous flips and stuff. So the fact that people are demanding that Simone Biles stay in the Olympics, despite her knowing that she has to take a step back for her own health and safety, whether that's mental, physical, or a little bit of both. Like, Simone doesn't have to prove herself to anybody, and I think anybody that's demanding more of her than she's prepared to offer is just being terrible. Because at the end of the day, I still look at her as a human being, and I don't value her based on whether she can provide me with entertainment or not, or like win a gold medal for my country. I've acknowledged this in a few of my previous videos, but if you don't know, I was a runner in high school, and I am physically disabled, so of course it's going like I competed at a vastly different level than Simone Biles. I wasn't even at like the Paralympic level, but sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice, but I competed in these games called the Empire State Games for the physically challenged. I know that name is icky, and then it was renamed to the Nassau County Victory Challenge. And I love running. I still love running, and I ran track for years at the Empire State Games, and I was one of the best in my classification because it goes by disability, age, and I believe they go by gender. I'm not sure, but yeah. But it got to a point where, like, I felt like people knew that, like, they knew some of my capabilities, so I was put under immense pressure. And let's be real, this is at a totally different level than Simone Biles has to deal with, because Simone Biles, like, the entire world is putting her under a microscope and like taking and like basically looking at every single thing she's doing and ready to tear her apart at every misstep and tell her that she's not great anymore. And the point of me bringing up myself is to remind people that, like, when you're put on this pedestal, you can really struggle with your self-image and your self-confidence, and you feel this immense pressure being put on you, and you're always like, what if I can't deliver? And of course, I don't know Simone Biles, but I think that might have been part of it, is people put so much pressure on her and are so like, rah, rah, she's the best, let's see what else she can do, that she feels like she can't measure up to that standard. And I'm not saying that she's not great, because obviously she is a very accomplished athlete, and she's better than most of us could ever even hope to be. Why did I just startle myself? I don't know, but anyway, but my point is that we need to stop putting these athletes up to such a high standard, and then the second they struggle or the second they mess up a little bit, we're ready to go at them with pitchforks. Like, it's not fair, because at the end of the day, you should care more about Simone Biles than about what she can do, because ultimately, like, gymnastics, and I really don't mean this to belittle any gymnasts, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if you're hurting yourself in the process. And I'm very happy that Simone knew her limits, and she took a step back from the Olympics. I think that took a lot of courage and just a lot of, like, knowing yourself and advocating for yourself and being assertive. And I know that's a very hard thing to do, especially for women, and especially since she's a black woman. That's a very hard thing to do, because a lot of times when you who are assertive, and you state your needs and you set your boundaries, people will classify you as aggressive or like difficult, but that's not the case. She's setting boundaries and knowing what she needs and saying, this is what I am prepared to give right now, and if that's not enough for you, then I don't know what to do. And I'm just very glad that, like, I feel like the next generation has these strong role models that are setting boundaries and putting their foot down and saying, enough is enough. I'm not going to sacrifice myself for the entertainment of other people. And I think that that's just amazing. And that is all I really wanted to say today. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you would like to, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!